the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. They cannot stop me. I will get my education if it is in the home, school, or any place. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. He who opens a school door closes a prison. Education is the ability to meet life situations. Learning starts with failure. The first failure is the beginning of education. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Education consists mainly of what we have unlearned. If you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers. They are society's heroes. The duties of a teacher are neither few nor small, but they elevate the mind and give energy to the character. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. Your heart is slightly bigger than the average human heart, but that's because you're a teacher. Teachers can change lives with just the right mix of chalk and challenges. Teaching is the greatest act of optimism. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Students, don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It is not what is poured into a student that counts, but what is planted. Teachers have 3 loves: love of learning, love of learners, and the love of bringing the first 2 loves together. The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. Education doesn't just make us smarter, it makes us whole. Teaching kids to count is fine, but teaching them what counts is best. I am indebted to my father for living, but to my teacher for living well. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops.
Good evening, everybody. Could you please confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, Sajan, you are.
All right, okay, thank you. I think you need to make Dr. Sunil Jop co-host as well. All right, okay. All right. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you once again for registering and attending this national level online faculty development program on research methodology using ChatGPT and AI tools and funding opportunities for research. This is organized by the PG Department of Computer Applications, the Internal Quality Assurance Cell IQAC, and Lincoln University College Marine Research Center LUC-MRC of Marine College Kutikanam Autonomous, in association with the Kerala State Higher Education Council, the KCGC. We would like to welcome today's resource person, Dr. Sunil Job KA, who is the adjunct faculty, Marine College Kutikanam Autonomous. And a very warm welcome to all the FDP participants of today. Now, a short description about the FDP. This is an 8-day FDP program, and this is actually the second day of our FDP session. We have it from the same timing of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We expect you to be present on all the days. Now, the fee for the LMS access and processing of certificates is ₹600. All the participants who have paid the processing fee will receive the LMS access. the video recordings for all the days, and the provision to download your FDP completion certificate. The procedure for receiving the certificate will be informed to you towards the end of the FDP. If any of you are yet to make the payment, please make the payment of ₹600 to the account details in the chat. I will post it shortly. If you are unable to attend any of the live sessions, they will be available in the LMS. We have shared the LMS access details through email to those who have shared the payment proof in WhatsApp till yesterday. Those who have shared the payment proof in WhatsApp today will receive the LMS access later in the day or by tomorrow only. If any of you have any trouble in attending the online session on WebEx, you can also join the YouTube live session. The link of that I will put in the chat now. All right, so if you have any audio issues or anything, you can also try logging in, joining that live stream session on YouTube. My name is 𝐂𝐨𝐥𝐴𝐺𝐿𝐴. I'm working as Global Relations Manager for IPSR Solutions Limited, and I will be the event moderator. Now, moving on to today's session. Today, we will move on with the technical session itself, and the topic for today will be research methodology. This topic of research methodology will be delivered by Dr. Sunil 𝐂𝐻𝐿, who is the adjunct faculty, Marine College, Kuttalam, Autonomous. Now, a brief description about Dr. Sunil 𝐂𝐻𝐿. Dr. Sunil 𝐂𝐻𝐿 has 30+ years of experience in teaching and 10+ years in corporate consultancy. He holds a PhD in mathematical education and has been an associate professor at MG University College of Teacher Education from 1999. He has started his career as assistant professor at Carmela Rani Training College, Kollam. He has served as visiting team member of NCTE for grant of recognition and as a research person for the Affiliation Renewal Committee of MG University. He's an active blogger in cutting-edge technologies in IT, education, and data science. Dr. 𝐂𝐻𝐿 has published a few articles in national journals and authored a few academic books and a reference manual in mathematics. He has served as a resource person for a number of faculty development programs in outcome-based education, OBE, data science, e-learning, etc. Currently, he is serving as the adjunct professor, Marine College, Kuttalam, Autonomous, and Chief of Academics, IPSR Solutions Limited. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sujin. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, good evening, all. So, obviously, the topic of this faculty development program is very significant because, as we know that now in the higher education scenario, more priority is been given to research. Because when we come into this new education policy 2020, when we go with an integrated program of undergraduation program, definitely the fourth year, that is the honors, will be giving more access to the research-oriented curriculum. And not only that, because I've seen many times that this researchers is often very, when they are in the peak of the research, they are often very, I used to see them with the wrinkled foreheads, very busy and having with a lot of doubts clouded over their head, and running to meet the supervisors. Obviously, the supervisors will be very busy in the busy schedule. Sometimes they may not get time to tackle the doubts of these students. So obviously, we know that these days that the advent of these AI tools into the different workspaces has liberated and made these workspaces so easy. In the field of education also, there is a lot of disruptions which has been happening with the integration of the possibilities of AI tools. So the thing is that how we will be able to customize it into our work is something very, very, very important. So as far as the research scholars are concerned, as I've told that I've often seen them when they're at the peak of their work, they will be, it is just like a tabas here. At the peak of the work, they'll be moving with a lot of doubts clouded over their heads. So if you are able to interact with the AI tools in the proper way, definitely 50% of the doubts could be cleared. So when you go and meet these your supervisors, you can have a clarity on what you are going ahead, so that you will be getting the final certifications or the final concerns from the supervisor on the way in which you could proceed. So definitely this will be a boon to all the researchers, and the greater part of this is that it is most important that in what all spaces that we can integrate the possibilities of AI in the research process. And definitely by the end of this 8 days sections, you will be having a clarity on where to use the AI, how to use it in the way. Definitely plagiarism is something very that is everyone view it with the cautiousness, but when you integrate these possibilities of AI, will this be a problem in our research? So what is the difference here? So all these things are a matter of concerns, and definitely you will be getting positive solutions throughout these segments. And if you want to put the AI assistance into your work, definitely if you want to get the right answers from the AI tools, the thing is that you should communicate with these tools in the right way. So definitely, the principal, the resource persons of this seminar, of this workshop will be Dr. Suresh Nambudiri. He's really, I would like to tell it as he's a guru in these AI tools. So he will be giving you the right way of interacting with these AI tools. The right way of interacting means prompting these AI tools to get the right solutions. And the prompting in the sense, it is really a big area. That is, we could rather say it as a prompt engineering. He has written many books in prompt engineering recently. You will be getting a lot of this takeaways from this seminar in order to steer your research works in the right way. And the second part is that there is we have got a very I've just checked that LMS, and we have got a very beautiful LMS which has been going parallel with this workshop. And I would say that the real life of the this workshop lies in this LMS. That suppose probably it's a long schedule of 8 days. Sometimes if you miss one or two schedules, all the recordings will be available in the LMS. And not only that, the thing is that a lot of use cases where all you could apply these possibilities of AI has been very beautifully showcased. And with the prompt also, because prompt is something very important, how we can prompt. So the prompt also is being available there. So if you are availing these LMS, you have to use it to the maximum, so that you will be definitely benefited by this. Okay, without much of introductions, I would like to enter into my task of today. And my task today is to set a stage. Definitely, you know that this research methodology is really a ocean. You cannot comprehend the research methodology into what you would say that 1.5 hour or 2 hours. That is a 2 hours lecture will not give you anything about this research methodology, because this is it's a big ocean. So my task here is to just to give you an overall view on this research methodology, that is the research methodology framework, and what are steps through which you have to progress when you are going with a research work. And that is to set a stage, just to till the land of the research landscapes which is already new. Just to dig it up and make it ready for Suresh Nambudiri to take you to into the greater world of AI. What I will be doing in this segment is that I'll be just giving you an overview of the different steps which we have to which we progress while we are using while we are going with the research methodology. So that is just a framework of the research methodology. What are the phases and stages that through which we have to progress? Just to make some reflections on that, just to refresh on the knowledge that you have already with you in the research methodology. So this is just a refresher segment on research methodology. And I think now it's the right time to go into my slides. I've got a couple of slides to share with you, and we can, because so that we can just align, streamline our discussions or our lectures in the right way, so that we will be getting the maximum benefit if you are customizing it in the right way. So let me share the slides with you. So let me say, and the weather is not here in Kerala is not that much positive, so there is some network issues. So I think I will just keep my video off, and while I'm sharing the screen. So now I have something, Sijin, is my screen okay?
Yes,
And
visible.
my sound, okay. So the screen is visible and there is no problem with
Yeah,
my
audible.
audio.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we
Okay.
can go ahead.
Yeah.
We can go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me put it in the what I could say in the. Okay, so this is our topic, foundation of research methodology. So I've just given you a small overview on what we'll be going to have for today. I think the menu for today is just going through the different stages of research methodology. It is just an attempt to refresh your knowledge, which is already in you. It is not a mere teaching, definitely not, because you are there in the research. That is in a research ecosystem, so definitely there is no need to teach, just to make refresh the knowledge. So this is a mild attempt to refresh what is there in you. So to begin with, when we start with research, obviously we have to start with what is research. The word itself is evident, searching something again and again. Research. So research is we are just searching some phenomena again and again from different angles, because if you are viewing something from one angle, you will be getting some sort of observations and etc etc. So research is something that we are viewing something from different angles, so as to generate some new knowledge, or to identify some gaps in that area, or to solve some problems, etc. So that is what you really do in the process of research. So research is a structured inquiry and systematic process of aim for generating new knowledge. So that is the product of the research. There will be some new knowledge, or expanding something, existing expanding knowledge or understanding, or solving some problems. So this will be the end product of research, as we all know. So now the more important thing that I have noticed in many cases is that suppose if we ask the research scholars what type of research that you are involved in, probably most of them which I have met is finding difficult to identify what is the type of research that they are doing. So obviously, the type of research could be classified into many ways, isn't it? So we can classify the researches on the basis of different criteria. If you're going to classify the research on the basis of its purpose, we can have that we can classify it as exploratory research, or descriptive research, or explanatory research. So you will be able to identify what is the research that you are in. If it is an exploratory research, the word itself signifies exploring. That means that the investigator, we have to investigate into some ambiguities, some problems which we are really not sure of. Or this exploratory research takes you to because this is done when the investigator has no information about the topic that he's been studying. So there is an ambiguity, or this exploratory research gives some insight into the topic that you are studying. For example, uh, suppose if you are making a research in that the impact of this virtual reality in education, or why virtual reality, the impact of this AI, that is the artificial intelligence in the field of education. So we are not aware about clearly about what is the impact, whether it is having a positive impact on the scholars or whether it is been diluting the work of the scholars. So this is something we are not clear of. So we have to explore what is the real impact. So that research we could classify it as exploratory. So is exploratory research is something which have got an that is investigative. You are investigating something. Some ambiguity is there in the topic. No clarity is there. You are doing the research in order to bring clarity into something which has been unknown. So that is what exploratory, exploring something. So if your purpose is to consolidate or summarize or to describe something, some characteristics of the phenomena, we can call it as descriptive research. So in a descriptive research, what we do is that we because the phenomena the phenomena is been already live. So what we are doing is that we are describing different parameters related to that phenomena and putting it making a summary of that, a clear-cut idea regarding the phenomena. For example, suppose if you are doing a research on what you say, a survey, okay, a survey on the smartphone usage among the college students. Obviously the smartphone usage is already on, and you're making a survey that what percentage of students are using the smartphones, what all type of things, what all type of applications they are more using it, how much active they are in the social. If you are making a research on that, because that is, you are summarizing something which has been already there. So that is descriptive research. You are trying to describe what some characteristics of the phenomena, or you are trying to describe some behavior of some that is the students which has been actively involved in this smartphone usages like that. So this is describing something. Or if it is explanatory research can be also termed as causative research. So actually in an exploratory research, we will be trying to identify the cause or the factors that control a phenomena. So what are the factors which has been related to the phenomena? Is there any factors that control the, it will try to bring about some relationship between cause and effect. What is the cause of something? So if the purpose is to identify the cause, we could say that explanatory research. So on the basis of the so if you are just I would like to so if you're making a study on, okay, the sleep duration and academic performance among the students of obviously there are two variables: the academic performance of the students and how do the sleep duration have an impact on that academic. So is there a relationship between them? So here we are making a cause and effect relationship. So what are the factors that which is contributing to the academic this academic performance of the students, where one parameter which we are studying is the sleep duration, or some other things you could add. So you are trying to identify what the factors that control a phenomena. Factors that control a phenomena. What is the phenomena? Here in that case that I identify, which I have suggested, academic performance. What are the factors that has been controlling the academic performance? If you're making study in that, you're trying to identify the causative factors that contribute to that factors. So that is explanatory research. So likewise, on the basis of purpose, you will be able to segregate the types of research, because this is so one way of this is so here research which has been explanatory will be could be considered as an experimental research on the basis of when we go through this slide, we'll be able to identify that our research will be at a time this exploratory, at a time qualitative, quantitative, whether it is narrow based or broad based, or whether it is a primary research or secondary research, because a research is not only one type. A research will take the identity of multiple types depending upon the criteria, depending upon the criteria on which you are trying to classify the research. This is something very important. Actually, I've found that the students are finding it difficult while they are able to identify what type of research they are really doing. Okay, so on the basis of different criteria, we can make different classifications, and I have just figured out some criteria. So another criteria. So let me push off this purpose from here, and let me on that approaches. So let me take on the basis of the approaches. On the basis of these approaches, that we will be able to classify the research as qualitative research, or quantitative research, or mixed research, qualitative, quantitative, mixed research. So qualitative research, obviously we know that the nature of the research will be going through a lot of the interviews or just observations like that. Here the data which has been involved in this qualitative research will be more or less non-numerical. That is, you'll be more dealing with the text analysis. You will be dealing with the different sorts of interviews. Then you will be dealing with the to a greater extent thematic analysis like that. That will be the essence of that will be the approach. You will be involved in qualitative research. You will be going with interviews. You will be going with thematic approaches. You will be going with the text analysis. We will be going with the analysis of some video content. All this will be the nature of the qualitative research that you will be going on. Suppose getting the or studying the opinion of some people, or studying the experiences of some people, all this research will be to a greater extent qualitative research. For instance, suppose if you are making a study on a study on what you could say, okay, in the medical field, the lived experiences of cancer survivors. Okay, suppose if you want to doing a research on the experiences of the cancer survivors, obviously you have to go meet them, make interviews, about their opinions, about their experiences that they have been facing during their medications. All these things you are consolidating, and so that is a qualitative study. A quantitative study, obviously we know that the approach is been we'll be going for quantification of these that informations. So definitely in a quantitative study, numerical data will be the code, and the research approach will be how we will be able to get informations and quantify it, and the analysis will progresses in a quantitative platforms. So suppose if you are making a study on, for example, I think the examples makes things a little more clear. A relationship study. Suppose if you're doing a relationship study, suppose the physical activity and mental health in adolescents. Okay, these are two factors. So okay, if you are making a relationship study, that is a quantitative. That is, what is the level of the physical activity? You can quantify it with some numerical way, and also the mental health. What are the parameters related to the mental health, anxiety, emotional stability, like that? You can identify some parameters and have a quantitative scale for measuring that and whether to identify that. So here you are progressing with the data which has been going with the in a quantitative pattern. And also you can have a combination of these two as a mixed research. So obviously we'll be able to identify the types of research on the basis of approach. Now another thing is that you can identify the types of research on the basis of its scope, whether it is a narrow research and whether it is a broad research. So obviously from the word itself, if the research is specific, then we can say that okay, it is only a narrow, it focuses only on the niche area in a small area. And if it is going with in a broader area, we can say it as a broad research. For instance, what you would say for a narrow research, I would like to okay, suppose if you're in meditations, okay, an impact, you're going to make a study on the impact of a specific meditative technique, a single meditative technique in short term stress reduction. So here that there are two factors: stress reduction as well as what you could say a simple meditative technique, and how the simple meditative technique will contribute to the short-term stress reduction in these school students or college students. Okay, so you have delimited your study into one single meditative technique for short-term stress reduction to a small group of students. So this is a narrow framework. Suppose if it is a bigger framework, I would like to put it as some factors, the factors influencing mental wellness across various demographic groups, So this is a broad this is a broad area, that is the mental wellness. What are the different factors which is related to mental wellness to the students, to the people of all age, different demographic, if it is from childhood, from adolescence, youth, middle-aged, old age. Likewise, we are making a broader study. So that is we could say that a broad research. So you can classify. So a type of research will be sometimes a narrow research, sometimes a broader research, sometimes it will be exploratory research. So you will be having a combination here. So sometimes if you say that my research is only explanatory research, it is not broader, you cannot say it like that. You can classify it in many ways, because I've seen when we ask in the students or in some interview board like that, the type of research, is it this type, then definitely they say that no, mine is only this one. That is not the way. We can classify it in any way. Suppose if you are classifying it on the basis of time frame, suppose if you are going to classify it on the basis of time frame, we can call your research as what you could say a cross-sectional research, or longitudinal research. Cross-section means just what has been happening now. I'm only interested in that. A snapshot of the current situations. That is the cross-sectional research. For example, if I want to, I will give some examples in a cross-sectional research. Suppose if you want to examine the, what do you say, okay, social media usage. This social media usage pattern among the young adult now at the present scenario. That is the young adult during this 2023 period. What is the what you could say that the usage, the usage of social media, how they are active in the social media. So this is what a cross-sectional research, what has been happening now. So this is a cross-sectional research. It will give, suppose if I make some studies at the present, this gives the status of the current scenario. So this is a cross-section of this time frame. Suppose if it is a longitudinal, that is, it extends over a period of time. That is, it may take about 10 or 10 years or something more like that. Suppose if you are making a study in such a type of topic, like the impact of what you could say that early childhood intervention. That is, you are giving early childhood care and education, early childhood intervention on the academic achievement of the students. Academic achievements of the students at the higher education level. So here this may span for a long time. That is, you have to just monitor the students, how they have been catered with the different early childhood interventions on the basis of childhood care and educations, and how it has been contributing in the later stages of their academic life. So you have to wait for so that is a longitudinal. So the time frame is over a period of time. So this is the research can happen in that way. So it is cross-sectional. Or if you are able to, on the basis of the nature of data, sometimes the primary research or secondary research. The primary research, obviously, you have to go in person to this elements of the population under study and get information and then go with the research. That is primary research, direct collection of data. Or in the secondary research, definitely you will be referring with some secondary source of data, and then you are going ahead with the research. For example, suppose if I am going to make a study on, let it be a physical topic, that is at the effectiveness of a new exercise which has been that is we have just going to develop a sequence of new type of exercises. So new exercises are on maybe some jogging or something like that, some different types of jogging on cardiovascular health. So cardiac type of exercises. So that is what a primary type. So you have to collect directly from these populations, and then you are going to make a study. So here we are classifying it on the basis of primary, or if it is a secondary, or exploring some sustainable fashions through review of literature. That is some sustainable fashions which was there from a period of time. So from the different documents, from different videos, you will be able to identify. So here the secondary source is the you are depending upon the secondary source. So that could be a secondary research on the basis of time frame. Or not, or sorry, on the basis of the nature of data. On the basis of the content, we can classify it as the social research as well as scientific research. Obviously, the social research, that means that will be a topic, something related to the society. Society in the fields of, suppose if you are making some researches on the basis of social dynamism, or with respect to some social institutions, or some social policy, or some social behavior, or you are going to make some researches on culture, civilizations. All these things are something related to a social framework. So that research on the basis of content, we can call it as social research. Or suppose if it contribute to scientific study, that is a systematic inquiry that you're going to make with scientific study, we can call it as the scientific research. And now on the basis of methodology, this is something very important. We say that, okay, I'm just making a experimental type of research. So in an experimental type of research, what is that? You have to conduct an experiment. That is, you have to give some treatment to some group, as well as you to make some control. So there will be you have to if you want to make some comparisons like that, there will be two groups. One is a control group and one is an experimental group. You will be administering the treatment to the experimental group and keeping the control group as such, and making some comparisons. So these are the experimental procedures. You are doing some experimental, making some so this is experimental research. Suppose if I want to make a study on this, what you say, okay, I will take one from the medical field, that is an effect of a newly discovered drug or medicine in controlling this BP, blood pressure. Okay, so that is an experimental research. So you have to administer that particular drug to some patients, some patients of different age groups who has been having these blood group issues in the in a control group, and in an experimental group, and the control group, the traditional medicines, and whether you will be able to identify whether there is more that is the new drug is more effective than the traditional medicines which they are normally using. So that could be an experimental scenario. Or on the basis of methodology, it could be a survey. Survey means you are just getting information, collecting data using questionnaires, interviews, schedules, like that. You're getting informations, and then you are most probably survey you is a type of descriptive research. You will be able to summarize all these things. You will be able to make clear the different characteristics of that particular phenomena through the survey. So that is the normally many research has been happening in the survey platform. For example, suppose okay, in a social science platform, suppose if you are going to make a public opinion on a political issue. So that is, you have to collect public opinion from the from a group from different samples, and you will be able to identify what is the public opinion about the. So this is at a time survey research, and it is at a time social the is a social science research like that. That is why I told that these are not mutually exclusive. On the basis of these each criteria, you can fix your research in any of these cases. So another could be a case study. So here what you're doing is that you are focusing only on that particular case. The case can be an individual case, or it can be an institution, or it could be a group, or whatever it may be. You'll be focusing on that particular case. For instance, if you are just going to make a study about an organizational transformation in a tech company, that is how suppose if you are taking the case of the Apple, or if you are taking the case of a Google, how it has been transformed. You are focusing on the particular case, and you are making a study on that. So how they are gradually progressing, or you can make the study with respect to a particular individual who is so likewise you can progress with a particular case. And the other can on the other methodology could be the content analysis. So content analysis is actually a structured examination of the text content. So the text content, you will be going with the text content. You will be coding the different text which has been there, and will be so likewise the content analysis method. I'm not going to teach content analysis, just going to show what are the types of researches on the basis of content analysis. And on the basis of research settings, we can consider laboratory research, or whether it is a field research. Laboratory, in the sense, that means the scientific researches can be more in a laboratory form, where high control and this rigorous experiments could be done in a laboratory settings. For example, if you are trying to make a research on the effect of temperature on enzyme activity, it could be progressed in a what you could say in a laboratory situations. But if it is a field research, then there is less control, and it will be progressing through a what you could say in a natural context, or and where we are giving more prominence to the observations like that. So in a research settings, for example, if you are just going to identify uh, that is you're going to make a study on the biodiversities in your this local forest ecosystem. So that is you cannot take it to a laboratory and make a study. So that is a field research, where you are observing the different biodiversities and making a it is a type of field research where you can progress with a descriptive analysis about the biodiversities like that. So all these researches are interconnected on the basis of this type. This is something which we would like to make it to your notice. Told that we will be just going through these different research, but you could say the framework, and then how ChatGPT could be integrated into these scenarios, that could be made clear in the upcoming sections. We have got a long sections to go. So now I would like to make a small check on your understanding of this one. Let me put that. Let me put this. Could you just answer this one? What is the primary goal of experimental research? Yeah, you can check whether it is A, B, C, D. That is to describe and explain a phenomena, to observe and record a phenomena. What is it? Experimental research. To establish cause and effect relationship, or to explore opinion and attitude of individuals. What does this signifies? You can put it in chat. So here, if you are, because if I want to go to the chat, okay, have you given? a lot of chat is coming up. So the primary goal of experimental research is, if you are to describe or explain a phenomena, it is descriptive. If you want to, it is cause and effect relationship. So experiment is more focusing on the cause and effect relationship. That is the focus of experimental research. So now you can just check with this. What is which of the following data collection method is commonly used in qualitative research? Qualitative research. Which one is most appropriate? That is what. Laboratory experiment is not there. Structured interview. Structured interview means you are controlling, isn't it? But this is the most apt. Which one? For a qualitative research, we want to listen to what that particular person. That is a qualitative study. That is in-depth interview, participant observation, and content analysis. This is more the survey and interviews are there, but more interviews are there, but it is not structured. It is in-depth interview. We want to hear to these persons. Suppose if you want to share the experiences of the person, you cannot structure it. In-depth interview, participant observation, content analysis. Okay, which of the following is the characteristics of a descriptive research? In a descriptive research, we don't manipulate anything, isn't it? So here, this one is more compactable. It involves collecting data to provide detailed account, that is describing the subject or phenomena. So this is what you do in descriptive research. Okay, this is the most it includes random assignment of participants to the experiment. So this is experimental research. This is descriptive research. It aims to uncover the reasons uncover underlying reasons, means exploratory. This is exploratory. So this is more related to this descriptive research. Okay, so this is something very important because in most of my experiences, I had a lot of bad experiences while interacting with these research scholars. They have finding difficult to identify what is the type of research they are really doing. So that is why I've included that one in the segment. So now we are going to the different stages by which we have to progress in this research. Actually, the researchers normally go with these stages. In sometimes of research, it may not include all these stages, but these are the stages by which normally a research progress. The first phase in the research is what? Identification of the problem. The identification of the problem. What does it emphasize in identification of the problem? So here in identification of the problem, what we do is that we have to, it may be a social problem or a scientific problem or a social phenomena or a concept worth studying. So that will be a problem. So every research should begin with a problem. And the problem can be say, a topic which is worth for study, or it can be a social problem or a social phenomena, or even as or a scientific topic which is worth for studying. So that is identifying the topic which you have to go with. So this is done on a broad area to be selected, and then the broad topic is delimited or narrowed down to a specific statement. So you will be analyzing the field and you will be comprehending it into a single problem statement. So that is what which has been happening in the first phase, learning about the different areas from the big scenario. You will be consolidating it into a verbal statement of the problem. So that is the first phase. The second phase, because we will be going through all these things in the upcoming slides, the review of literature. And in upcoming sections, Suresh Nambudiri will be giving you inputs on how to integrate what the ChatGPT into all these phases and make the things easy. So this is the what I'm doing is that just bringing all the things up and setting a stage only for that is to refresh all these things. The second important thing is review of literature. So review of literature, we know that this is the I think one of the most important thing, and which normally the researcher normally neglect it, because only through review we will be able to identify what is lacking in the area that you are going to make a study. What are the gaps which is there? That is something to be identified. You have to feel the necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention. Only through research we'll be able to identify what is something which has been on demand in the area that you're studying. What are the gaps? What need to be extended? All these things could be really understood only through review. So a clean review, if you're making clean review, definitely about 20 to 30% of the research clarity you will be gaining. So the review of literature is refers to the comprehensive and systematic examination of the existing scholar work, studies, articles, and other relevant sources related to this topic. The purpose is to identify what is my role here to take this to the next level. Okay, so that is the purpose of the review of literature. So on the basis of this review of literature, you will be creating what? You will be creating a research a problem. You will be identifying a research problem from the review, and on the basis of the problem, you will be going and formulating these objectives and hypotheses on the basis of this review. So all these three things are very, very important. So identification of the research problem, setting of objectives, and formulation of hypotheses. So this will become meaningful if you have a thorough review of literature. So, so coming to the hypothesis, this is the starting point of the research. Now, so it involves formulation of a clear, testable statement or proposition that suggests a potential relationship between the variables or predict a certain outcomes. So most of the researchers, definitely, especially in the experimental study, you have to formulate an hypothesis. So hypothesis is nothing but a intelligent guess regarding what will be the solution. So that is, so hypothesis is an educated guess or a proposition that serves as a starting point of a scientific inquiry and investigation. So hypothesis is nothing but a intelligent guess regarding the solutions, and you will be the stage is set for your research. Then you will be moving along with that hypothesis, and you will be testing whether your hypothesis will become is right or wrong. If it is been rejected, okay, yeah, that is not, it won't stand. If it is accepted, the hypothesis, something below the thesis, the hypothesis will become thesis. So this is something the next phase. So identification of the problem should be done on the basis first to identify a problem of your taste, and then you have to make a review of literature on the basis of that particular area. On the basis of that area, you should able to identify what is the research question, objectives, and hypothesis. And after that you have to make a research design. This is research design is just a blueprint of how you have to progress. That is, what should be the methodology that you have to adopt, what should be the strategy, how to develop the tools for the research. All these things comes under the research design. So design is the guiding light through which you have to progress in the research study. So research design refers to the plan structure that outlines how the research study will be conducted. So we have to first make a design on how we have to progress. It encompasses the methodology, framework, and strategy that the researchers use for systematic research to investigate the research question or problem. So that is research design. So research design is something very important. So after identifying this, so how we have to progress, what's the methodology, what is how we have to progress, how we have to go with the samples, all these things have to identify. Then we have to make clarity regarding the population. So from which is the targeted group of our research. So that is the population. So it refers to the entire group of individual items or elements that share a common characteristics or attribute that are focuses of our study. So our researchers will focuses on some variables, and these variables are relevant to which group. So that is the group is on which we are going to. Suppose if you are making a study of the college students, the entire college students comes as a part of the population. Suppose if you are making a study about the school, secondary school students, that group will be. Suppose if you are making a study regarding the IT professionals, that's a big area will become as a population. So population is the particular group by which you are trying to make. The population, and we obviously when the population size is very big, we will not be able to get the information from all. So we have to go and get a small part of the population that will represent the entire population that is sample, and the sampling technique. We will be having a lot of ambiguity, some questions which need answering while we do progress all these. So for every question there is no need to go and consult the supervisor. Because I told that the supervisors will not be always available. They will be very busy with their different schedules. So when you go with the supervisors, you should have some clarity regarding the things, and the final okay, or the final confirmations could be made with the supervisors. So before going with the supervisors, you can go with the this ChatGPT or the AI tools by which you can make clarity regarding at every stages what is right, what is wrong, what is the real thing. That will give you very beautiful and those that is those aspects which you have not even imagined. So your research will become more smart research if you are working along with these AI tools. So regarding populations, then collection of data. Obviously, if you want to get collection data, you have to develop a tool. Developing a tool has got its own procedure, standardization of the tool, or if you can adopt the tool. If you want to adopt the tool, or if you create a tool, you have to validate the tool, or if you want to adopt the tool, you have to customize the tool to your research project. So how to customize and then validate it. So there is a big thing that have to work on this on collection of data. So preparation of tool, and then only on the basis of the tool only you can collect the data. So for preparation there you can consult with these AI tools, so that you will be getting a lot of information while you work with that. And then collection of this data should be there. And once the data is collected, this is something very, very important, and normally the researchers find it very difficult how to go with analysis. How can I, if it is a qualitative research, how can I progress with a qualitative type of analysis? How can I go with the thematic analysis of the content? How can I go with coding of this content? Or how can I quantify the information which I've collected through survey? I have adopted a Likert scale. How can I score positive and negative statements regarding the topic that I've studied? How can I consolidate it? How can I adopt statistics? Whether I go with a multivariate analysis or whether I go with bivariate analysis. If it is a correlation study, this bivariate analysis, is it necessary to go with a partial correlation analysis? Or if it is necessary to go with ANOVA or ANCOVA. So likewise, there is a lot of confusions will be there to the researchers who are progressing at this stage. So which statistics is appropriate to which studies you can depend upon these AI tools. This is something very important. I've seen there are a lot of, if you want to make some beautiful visualizations, which is the visualization apt for your study, so that is also, you can consult it, and then you can go with that particular visualization tool and create visualization. So like this. So this is a bigger area to you can depend on what you could say your these AI tools. And another important thing is writing research. So writing research means you have to, whatever thing that you have to find, you have to announce it to the stakeholders or to the community that you want. So that have to be written in the right way. So presenting the research, creating the report has got its own procedures. You can create research. Pardon. Okay, you can create these research reports by the different specifications as set by these authorities, by the universities. If you want to go, suppose if you want to go with this API specifications, what is API specifications, or how to present the research. So all these things has got its own methods. So you can also consult these this ChatGPT or these AI tools. Suppose if you are writing a text, if you want to modify the text, the entire text could be modified or paraphrased or rewritten. You can make it by means of this AI tools. So there is a lot of possibilities by which you can adopt these AI tools into the research by obviously when we are just going with some text contents from the internet, definitely you will be caught under the plagiarisms. So when we are going with the AI tools, definitely you will be able to. AI tool is not just like a Google search. When you go with a Google search, definitely it is making a text search, keyword search, and it will come and bring a lot of websites which contain your content. But if you are interacting with a chat GPT or something like that, it will be just like you are asking a person, the person will be giving you answers, and that answers will not be directly taken directly from these text which has been already there. There won't be the plagiarism issues with these content to a greater extent. So more clarity will be given by Suresh Nambudiri. He will be detailing about all these aspects, whether there is a problem with plagiarisms like that. This is regarding. So this is the entire stages by which we have to progress in this research. So we'll be taking this one by one. So research design, because every research has got a method. So research and design is nothing but the procedure or the method by which you progress when we go with any particular type of research. So I've just showcased a few research. Suppose if it is an experiment, research design is the strategies and method the researcher employed to carry out the research. That is it. It's a guiding line. It is a framework that you make. What are methodology that you have to adopt? What are strategies? What are tools? This is the research design. So if it is an experimental research, it involves manipulating one variable and determining if the change of one variable lead to the change of others. I'm not repeating it because in the first, when I discussed about the types of research, I have just given some more explanation, because that is something very important. As a researcher, definitely you should have the clarity on that. That's why I've just spent more time there. So I am not repeating it the same thing. So in an experimental research design, what we do is that we want to do some comparative study with an experimental group and the control group. You will be applying treatment to the experimental group, and control group you will keep it as in a controlled environment. Then you will be assessing it and make comparisons. So while going with the experimental group, the thing is that there is no need for a very big population like survey. If you're going with the survey, the population size should be big. If it is an experimental group, if you're conducting on that experiment, you can reduce that sample size to less than 50 or 60 or something like that, or even less if it is an experimental group. So that is the experimental designs. Suppose if it is the ex post factor research, means it is quasi-experimental. Quasi-experimental means in an experimental research, you have to manipulate the experimental conditions, the experimental group. But here, that experimental situation has already has occurred, but you have to find the relationship. That is ex post facto. So the primary concern is to identify the association relationship between the variables that have already occurred. So in an experimental research, you are creating an environment and comparing. So in an ex post facto research, the situation has occurred. So likewise, in a correlation study, what we do is that the design is we find out the relationship between two variables. In an exploratory research, all these things we are trying to find out the causative factors of a parameter. What all variable contribute to a particular parameters like that causative. Descriptive research, obviously we know that we have to describe what we could say that a phenomena or something like that. So a descriptive research, a form of research design, aim to describe a situation. Suppose if you are a descriptive research regarding some event, okay, how many participants were there? So likewise, you are just giving a clear-cut picture about what are the things which has been happened. So summarizing what has been happened is there in a descriptive research. In a case study research, you are just going deeper into some specific phenomena, person or a group. in a special context. So all these things we have just checked. Cross-sectional research involves the collection of data of a sample of individual at a specific point of time. So we have just checked it. What is cross-sectional research? What is longitudinal research? A snapshot of reality which has been there at the present. Likewise, historical research. Obviously, we know that it is a retrospective research, what had happened in the past, and on the basis of that we can just make some inferences about the present. So historical research involves studying the past to draw conclusions that are relevant in the present or future. So that is the importance of historical research. So basis of the past, retrospective, you are going back, making some qualitative analysis, or getting primary source of information or secondary sources, and on the basis of that you are making inferences about the present context and even going ahead for future. So these are the different research designs. So I've just only taken few. Because in the first slides, in the types of research, I have just explained the different designs in detail. So with the examples, so I'm not going to go again and finding out. So now when we go ahead with the research, definitely we know that I have just shown that a cyclic process. We have to start with identification of the problem. We have to select the problem from a number of group of problem, and then we have to bring it, reduce it into problem statement, and on the basis of the problem, related to the problem, you have to make a review of literature. The review of literature makes the things clear. What are the gaps that has been there in the research, in the area that you're studying? What has happened in the latest, so that you can go something ahead or fill the gaps or something like that. So on the basis of review, we have to make these three things. What is this? That is, what is the research question? So on the basis of the research, a deep review, you'll be able to identify what is the research question that you answer through your research work. That is the question that a researcher research project set to answer. So making it little more clarity, in order to answer these questions, you have to fix it. What are the objectives of this research? And these objectives will point to these research question. So on the basis of this research question, we have to fix the objective, target. We are targeting. What are the objectives? Pinpointing. This research question will be little vague. We are pinpointing what all things will answer this question. That is the set of objectives. It states it states what you intend your research project to accomplish. Okay. So on the basis of this objectives, you can formulate hypothesis. Hypothesis is the starting point. That is, on the basis of the review of literature, you have identified these are the something which has been happening. So this is the question, research question that I have to answer, and on the basis of the research question, you have said these are the pinpointed. These are the objectives that we are specifically going to study, and on the basis of that objectives, you will be identifying these are the tentative solutions which you focused. And you are going and collecting informations and testing whether your hypothesis is right or wrong. So this is these are the next stages after review, which should happen at the initial stages of the research progress. And regarding review, I've told that regarding review, obviously, what is the purpose of review? We know that the review is a critical component in the research process. It serves as a to establish the identify the gaps and guide the research effort. So review is something very important. Actually, review means evaluating what is happened in the current situations. Only through evaluations you can go to a create level. Obviously, in most of my sections, I used to discuss Bloom's taxonomy, right? In the Bloom's taxonomy, you know that how knowledge progresses. It will go from remembering, then go to understanding, application, applying, then it will go to analysis, analyzing, then it will go to evaluating. So review is to a greater extent evaluating what had happened in your current scenario or where you are conducting research. And after review, what is create? So review will set the stage. So evaluation will set the stage to go ahead for creating something new. So likewise, review will set the stage to go ahead and to create something new. So most often I've found it the students are finding difficult to go ahead, it is because I say because they have not gone with proper review. So review, while we review, we will understand what is the gap which is there in the area that you study. What should go ahead. So that will give clarity to your research work. So providing context for research, identifying research gaps, develop a theoretical framework, guiding research methodologies, and avoiding duplications. So sometimes, if without proper review, you may be doing the same thing which some other persons has already done. So what is latest, current? Then you can go ahead. So that is the importance of review. So the review of literature should be presented in a clear structure without plagiarisms. So plagiarism is something normally we used to see that copying something and just changing a few words or making it into a direct statement into an indirect statement like that. That is not. You have to conceive it and you have to write it by your own. That is a better way. And if you're taking it, it do not restrict you to take something which has been already there. But you can take it, provided you have to give proper citations. Citations are something very important. So, this the the another person's idea processes that is, you can include it with proper citations. Always acknowledge the contributions of others in your work. If you're taking something from others, you cannot claim that it is yours. You have to give proper citations, identify citation sources and paraphrasing, provide citations when it is provide a citation when in doubt about the fact or common knowledge. So all these things should be considered while you are progressing with the review and taking it to your research works. And coming to these sampling methods, this is something very important, because we know that developing a research design on the basis of review, formulating research questions, developing designs, and then we have to identify the populations from which you have to get informations, the targeted populations. So the targeted population will be, suppose if it is not scalable, definitely we don't go with the entire populations. We have to go with sampling. So what are the different methods of sampling? Obviously, we know that probability sampling and non-probability sampling. So obviously, in a probability sampling, what is the significance of a probability sampling is that the probability sampling, we are just taking a representative group of the population. So the population should be a representative. That means every elements of the population has an equal chances of being selected, equal probability. That is probability sampling. So how can we do a probability sampling? So there are different techniques of doing probability sampling. What is simple random sampling? Simple random sampling means that, suppose if you want to select 100 persons, 100 people from a 1,000 group, or from a 10,000 group, you have to collect 500. So you can just label the entire. You can label the entire 1,000 elements, and you can take randomly take 500 from that. Just like a lottery method or random selection through a computer assisted selection procedures, you can select it and you can take it as a simple random sampling. So in a simple random sampling, if it is 1,000 elements is there in the population, every element has an equal chances of being taken, just like a lottery method. That is the simple random sampling. Or you can go with systematic sampling method. So systematic sampling method is that, suppose if there are 10,000 elements are there in the population and you need only 500. You need only 500. So 10,000 divided by 500 is 20. So what you do is that you randomly select one number from 10,000. One number from 10,000. Probably it can be something 8,030. Okay, that is by lottery method. You have selected one number from 10,000. So that is 813. 813 means that is the UID for one particular element of the population. And from that, 813, you can systematically take the 20th person from 813. 20th person means 833. Then 853, like that you can select. So that is systematic sampling. That is you can select the persons with the fixed interval from that group. So that is the systematic sampling procedure. So here what is that every population, every member has got an equal chances. But the thing is that you are randomly labeling these people from 1 to 10,000, and you need 500. So that what should be the interval? 10,000 divided by 500, that is 20 should be the interval. You can randomly select any number from 1 to 1,000. Suppose if you're selected about 2,300, okay, 2,300 plus 20, 2,320, like that. You can add 2020, so that one full cycle will be operating in this way, so that the 500 people will be totally selected. So this is systematic sampling. And normally what we do is that cluster sampling. In a cluster sampling, what we do is that we will select a group as a whole. Suppose if you are just making a study about the students of these professional colleges, the computer science students of BTech students of from these engineering colleges. So you need about 600 samples. So you can, okay, in one class, if there is 60 students, you can go and take one class students from one college as a whole, a cluster as a whole. Then you can randomly select another college. Okay, you can go to another college and take another 60. Like that, you can take one group as a whole. So randomly selecting not individual element but a group as a whole, that is cluster sampling. And sometimes in some researches we sometimes use stratified sampling. Stratified means the entire population will be divided into different strata, and you'll be getting students from different strata. Suppose the same thing, suppose if you're studying about the engineering colleges in this what you could say in Kerala, okay, you can stratify it on the basis of different districts. You can take one engineering college from Trivandrum, and you can take one. So that is stratifying. You can stratify it like in that way. So stratification is that in some criteria we will be dividing the categorizing that population, and from each category will be getting these samples. I'm not going into detail. So this stratified also could be done as proportionate stratified sampling, or likewise you can just refer. So while doing these samplings, definitely you'll be having a lot of ambiguities. Which sampling technique is better for my study? You can just sometimes you'll be having some confusion whether go with stratified sampling or whether go with simple random sampling. If I go with simple random sampling, what is the real procedure by which I could adopt simple random sampling in my case? You can consult what this AI tool. The AI tool will be giving you the clear-cut procedure on how we can progress with this. So this is something because definitely when we are progressing, because in a theoretical framework you can learn all the theories and you can just answer these questions. But when you come to an application level, definitely you will be having some ambiguities and confusions regarding different aspects like that. So it is always better to have, if you want to have a very clear-cut this concise picture regarding what you're doing, definitely this AI tools will give you about 60 to 70% clarity, and rest you can just work with it, and then you can go and consult with the guide, and you can have so that is a benefit for both the guide as well as for the students, because the guide's hectic work will be reduced because the students are coming with some precise some a better stuff, so that they can give the final suggestions. And for the students, okay, they can also have it will be if it is difficult, you can make consultations like this. And non-probability sampling, obviously, we may be going with the convenient sampling. Convenient means those elements which is available and which is approachable for you, you go and collect it. So there is no randomizations. Or sometimes you may be going with the judgment of purposive sampling. Suppose if you want to make the students to participate in some competitions, you don't go and take a random sampling. You will be making some judgment on the basis of criteria. Okay, these students will be better. You will be going and selecting that students, and that students will be representing your college. So that is the judgment way of sampling. And the snowball sampling is in the sense that it's a very interesting sampling. I'll be first selecting 5 students, and these 5 students will be referring other 5 students, and these students will be referring the other 5 students. Likewise, we will be getting informations in a chained process of references and collecting informations like that. So that is the snowball sampling. It will progress like that. And if it is in a quota sampling, obviously you have some quota. You need 20% from this one, 30% from this one. So a prior quota is set, and you have to take these samples from with respect to that particular criteria. Like that. Suppose if it is an admission procedures, there'll be some students should be presented from the different community or something like that. Some quota will be there, and will be collecting it. Just like in the similar way, you will be getting some setting some quota for collecting samples. This much students should be there from this district. This much students. So that quota is set. Then you have to go with that. So this is a non-probability sampling. Everyone will not have an equal chances of getting into the sample, but in the first one. So which sampling is appropriate for your study? If it is a qualitative study, definitely non-probability sampling is important in a qualitative study. But if it is an experimental study or something like that, non-probability sampling is there. So what is probability sampling? What is non-probability sampling? Which type of sampling is appropriate for my studies? All these things could be, some confusions will be always pulling you back while you're going with these studies. So these things, when you go ahead with the help of ChatGPT, it will be just like a friend who has been always with you to assist you, to guide you. But the thing is that I would like to say one more thing. No AI tools, because I'm working doing a lot of work with the machine learning. That is one of my area of specialization. That is data analytics, machine learning, this NLP, the ChatGPT. It's a chatbot which has been built with the natural language understanding. So it's a learning model which has been built. It is built on deep learning architecture. So what we do is that when we are building up a machine learning model or a natural language processing model, we'll build that model, and then we'll be putting it to test. Putting it to test is that test the accuracy, to what level of accuracy that these tools will give you answers. And no AI tools or no what you could say machine learning tools is not matured for 100% accuracy. All these AI tools will be having a accuracy to a greater extent, about 70 to 80%. And learning has been progressing gradually. It will go ahead. So the final decisions on whether to accept or not is depending upon our authority. So we are the authority. No AI tool is above us now as such, because we have to validate it. Whatever these AI tools say will not be 100% accurate, because there is a chances of error that can come into this. So our expertise is always important. So while using a ChatGPT or an AI tool, that do not mean that it will be replacing our what you could say, that is our computer or our knowledge. We should be the master there to accept whether whatever it says right or wrong. So to a greater extent, our workload will be reduced, but we have to validate it by self, as well as if you are going with a research with a guide, you have to go with the guide and get the final concerns whether it is okay and go ahead. Otherwise, sometimes it is not always. There is a chance for a 20%, approximate 20+% error can happen while using this ChatGPT. So that is not a threat, but it is something assisting you to reduce your this confusions and ambiguity regarding, and it will just take you through those area where you will be able to take your researches to a high profile, where which you have never thought before, like that. So now going to the data collections, obviously, as I've told, that data collection is not go directly get data. If you want to get data, you have to get the tool. So in some researches, more priority will be given to preparation of a tool. So preparation of a tool means, suppose if you are going with those variables which is having psychological constructs, or we have to standardize the tool. So that is something very important. So standardization is a very, very important procedure. So how to standardize a tool? All these things you can consult with the AI tools, first setting and objectives, then preparing first draft of questions that is appropriate for. Sometimes that questions should be direct questions, or it may be a projective type questions. So in some tools, you should develop questions which has been projective type questions, and these are some areas where the researchers find it very, very difficult. If you consult with the ChatGPT, we will be amazed to see the different types of questions that this ChatGPT suggests. So these questions, you can just get it, and you can redefine it according to suit your. If you are giving it the right prompt, definitely there is no need to make any change. That is a significance of prompt engineering. That is Suresh Nambudiri is an expert for that. He will be giving all the prompt, give the prompt about a greater extent accurate results you will be getting from these AI tools. So getting these tools, then you have to make these item analysis, discriminating power, identify which all tools better will answer these questions, then make pilot test, and on the basis of pilot test you have to ascertain validity, reliability of the test. So how to make a validity of the test, what validity is essential for this criteria, whether it is construct validity, or if you are going with a standardized test for achievement, then what is that validity which is there for that essential for the test? Is it a content validity, or is it a predictive validity, or whether it is a construct validity? So how to ascertain the validity, whether it is by correlating with other tests, or whether there is a formula for or how to test the reliability, whether to go with the split off method, or whether to go with the parallel form method. Likewise, a lot of things has to be ascertained while you're going and making something of your own. Or suppose if you're adopting a tool, directly application of the tool will not be appropriate. You have to customize. You have to customize the tool to your environment, and then you have to go and validate it. Obviously, you can go and get the inputs from the subject experts and validations like that. So this is something very, very important. So at this point of time, the researchers obviously find it very difficult for making inferences or decisions regarding these things. So here we can take use of this ChatGPT. So data collection, you have to prepare. Suppose if it is a form will not come as such. Whatever things you should include in a Google form should be prepared by you. The stuff should be there. Or if it is a survey, you have to prepare a questionnaire. The questions for the questionnaire, validations, all these things you have to make. Then if it is an interview, okay, direct interview means sometimes the interview will be a scheduled one. Some questions, suppose if you're interviewing 100 persons, your question should not go in 100 way. Some streamlining of this interview question should be there. Then only we will be able to make it in an analytical framework. Suppose if you are going with what you could say as a qualitative study, that is about the experiences of there you can have an in-depth interview. Suppose if you're going with a case study, in-depth interview, not a structured interview. You should make the this case or the individual speak so that you can get a lot of information. Right? So depending upon the our nature of study, types of study, we have to customize these data, customize the data collection tools, etc. So observations, what to observe. We have to set the criteria and parameters before observations, not directly going and and observing will not make it. So before making observations, we have to make a chart of what things have to be observed. We have to make some quantitative marks on these observations. We have to make some this observation metrics where you can be able to make observation, not by going observation, right? Whatever. It's not an obviously that also anecdotal record. You can write down the what are things that you observe and make a log like that. And after that, this anecdotal record should be put to a qualitative study through thematic analysis. Likewise, a lot of things is there. I'm not because this time too short. I'm just making it too short, simple. So interview group, then transactional tracking. Suppose if you are making about a study at an this what you could say an enterprise level, the different transactions which has been happening. Suppose if you are making a study regarding the online transactions, okay, the transaction studies through Google Analytics, all these things. Suppose if you are making some study regarding web mining, so Google Analytics, you will be able to identify the traffic to certain websites. Or likewise, you have got a number of ways by which data could be collected, number of ways by which data could be collected. And for collecting of the data, you should have well defined what you could say tools by which you will be able to collect this data, and all these things could be made clear by what you could say by this and this is something very where most of these what you could say researchers find difficult, quantitative data analysis, data preparation and quantitative data analysis. I have just made it in a just form. Just I'm not going and explaining the entire process. Actually, this should happen in two phases. One is error detection. Error detection, that is data preparation, is error detection to data tabulation. And quantitative analysis means this: when you tabulate data, you have to analyze data and reach at the interpretations. This is the cycle how to progress. So your analysis, when you come to after collecting the data will be there. Sometimes it will be there in the questionnaire. It will be there in the questionnaire, or it will be there as a referendum files, or it will be there as a anecdotal records that you have made, or it will be there as this video recording or sound recording, the interviews that you have already recorded. The data will be there in multiple formats. So first thing that you have to do is that we have to, this is nothing but in a simple term, I would say that this is pre-processing of data, and this is the after pre-processing, the data has been fine-tuned, made error-free, streamlined, appropriate for the analytical tool. And this one is the final data analysis where you can adopt some softwares like SPSS, or if you are competent with some what you could say programming language R. It's a very beautiful programming language where you can work with statistical analysis through R. And Python. Why R? Python. You have a very beautiful libraries in Python where you can make analysis through Python. That is these are these programming languages by which you can, or your Excel itself is a very strong tool. You can use Excel for these analysis. And if you want to make some your analysis little more attractive by including more charts and visualizations, you can use Excel for visualizations, and Power BI. It's a very beautiful tool. And or you can use this one, what you could say, Tableau. Or likewise, a number of tools are there available, so you can use all these tools to make your research, this analysis to stand up. So I will just say, what is error detection? In pre-processing phase in a research process, most important thing is that your data should be made error-free. This is something. So error-free means there will be error in that entry that you have made, or there will be some missing values So how to deal with the missing values? Or it can be sometimes that some error has crept in and there will be some outliers that come into the data. So how to deal with these outliers, whether to eliminate the entire case or to go with the capping of that outlier with the upper bound and lower bound, like that a number of things has to be done. So validation is something very, very important. And after validating it, whether all the entries are appropriate and in the interval where it is uh, it is relevant. Suppose if you are making a study, a medical case studies you're going to make. Suppose if you are studying about the BP of the patients, obviously some 40 to 150. Suppose if the entry comes like 1,500 or 2,000 something like that, it is absurdity. So definitely you have to validate it. Whether there is some error that has crept in, isn't it? Suppose if you are making a study about the cholesterol level, this lipid profile, okay, LDL, bad cholesterol, or what? So what is the level? Okay, it can come up to 190. Suppose if it is 19,000. It's an absurdity. So likewise you have to validate about these the values, whether it is right or wrong, and you have to score it into a spreadsheet, and then you have to you have to edit and make coding. You have to coding in the sense you have to suppose if it is you're taking one of the character is one of the what you could say variable is gender. You have to code it like male, female, third gender, like that. You can put it in numerical format 1 2 3, because some softwares will be only taking numerical values. It won't take strings. So these processes should be done. So these processes will lead to the final table where you are ready to analyze. And once the final data is been transferred into this spreadsheet, then you can go with the data analysis. And data analysis means you can go with the descriptive analysis. For descriptive statistics, descriptive analysis means that you will be presenting the descriptive analysis, as I've told, that in descriptive statistics we are presenting what summaries, or you will be presenting the different variables as such by means of visuals. Okay, this is the scenario by means of a bar diagram or some pie diagram, or by means of tree diagram, or by so likewise you can describe it, or you can summarize it by means of different measures like exploratory analysis through mean, median, kurtosis, skewness, like that. So likewise, descriptive analysis could be made, or you can make a bivariate analysis if it is two variables, bivariate analysis correlation study, or if you want to make some regression analysis in order to identify whether there is a steady relationship has been maintained with respect to two variables, like that. So or you can go with multivariate analysis, like multiple regression analysis. That is suppose if you are going with identifying the different factors that contribute to any particular variable. So what are the contributions of different factors, like that? Multivariate analysis, multiple regression analysis, all these things could be made, and then we will be able to test the hypothesis on the basis of t-test. This multivariate analysis, if there are multiple variables, you can go with the ANOVA, or if it is a bivariate, you can go with whether there is a significant difference between the arithmetic mean of proportion of two groups, like that. You can go with the t-test or z-test or paired, likewise. So all these things there will bring a lot of confusions. What test, what type of analysis should be appropriate for my study? So this is my research problem. This is my research problem. So for instance, suppose if I'm making a study on the impact of social media usage on academic performance of the students. So that is a so that is a topic of study. So what is my research question will be, how does the frequency and nature of social media usage relate to the academic performance? So that was the area that I'm going to study. For this, I have set an objective. that is to investigate the correlation between the time spent and time spent on this social media platform and academical performance on the students. Considering the different different parameters like study habits like that, I can set objectives, and then I can formulate an hypothesis like the higher level of social media usage will be associated with the lower level of academic performance. So that is my hypothesis, and for this I will be able to select, okay, two variables are there. I'll be able to identify whether these quantitative value for social media usage and quantitative value for this academic performance like CGP, something like that, and I will be able to make a t-test whether there is a significant relationship like that. So this is how we have to progress. So I have just started with the topic. From the topic, I have just mentioned a research question, and from the research question, I have developed an objective. From that objective, I have set an hypothesis, and this hypothesis, I have just gone with a bivariate analysis for testing of the hypothesis, and then finally, I will reach at interpretations. So this is how this data preparation and quantitative research analysis should progress. And finally, we'll be concluding with this one, report writing. This is something very, very important, report writing. And so here, what we have to do is that we have to, in a report writing, the first and the most important thing is that our title. The title should reflect the main topic as well as the scope. So while reading the title itself, the stakeholders or any other persons will be able to identify what is the area that you have been studying. So then write an engaging abstract. Obviously, every research, because we will not be reading the entire volume, the big volume of your research project. So they will be learning your research projects will be first validated with an abstract that you are. So summarizing the key points of your research in a brief and compelling manner. It includes the research problem, method, results, and conclusions in a very, very concise and precise manner. So that should reflect the level or the value of the they won't because everyone will not be going through the entire thing. So your research will be known to the others only through this abstract. And while going into the research thesis, obviously the introduction should be well written. They provide the context of the research by explaining the background and significance of the study. So that is something very important. It is from that background and significance you will be trying to identify the problem. So the research question and hypothesis clearly outline the objectives, scope of research, briefly describe your methodologies. So that is something. Then review of literature. That is, we have just discussed the review of existing literature to be established. The context of the research, identify. So this is important. And then methodology, describing the research methods, techniques that you used in detail, explain how you collect the data and justify your chosen approach. So all these things should be written in a clear and precise way while you're presenting the research. And then you have to present your analysis in the best form through different tables. So it can be sometimes on the basis of hypothesis, testing of hypothesis and analyzing whether to accept or reject, or it could be in the form of an objective. So corresponding to one objective, there can be about 10 to 20 or more than that a number of tables, and on the basis of tables you can make analysis. So present your findings objective and comprehensively. Use tables, graphs, and figures to illustrate the key points. So all these things, the table should be very specific, and it should be well format. That is, it should include all the necessary information should be showcased in the tables. The graphs will add value to your analysis because by presenting the things in a diagrammatic or graphical will add more value in the sense it is easy to understand. So figures and key points. Avoid interpretations in this section. Stick to report and facts. So under every table, there is no need to write that detailed. Only stick to the reports and facts which is there, and the final discussions and conclusions should be followed. So in the discussions, interpret your result in the context of your research question hypothesis. So we have started from a research question, and whatever thing that you have analyzed and brought out from your data should be substantiating the research question, should be answering the research question. So discussion should be aligned with these what you could say these research questions and conclusions. Summarizing the main findings of your research should be summarized, and restate the importance of the research and other recommendations, suggestions for future research is possible. So that is a ideal. That is you can present the research, and also further suggestions could be for the further researches. And you have to list down all the references that you have included, and if you have included the citations, and the references corresponding to the citations should be included, and that you can put it in APA specifications. That is the American Psychological Association specifications, where you write the name, what you could say, the year, like that, or so you can use any of these these method for citation styles. And also you can include these appendices for your research. That is you can include the supplementary materials or the questionnaires, all these things that you have included in your research study could be added as annexes. So I would like to put one or two questions before we conclude. You can just give it. What is the role of control group in an experimental research? You can put it in chat. Okay. What is the role of the control group in experimental research design? Let me read all. To provide comparisons for evaluating the effect of independent variable, to ensure the participant unaware, to ensure that the participants are unaware of the experimental conditions, to control the confounding variables, to increase the internal validity. The first one, A, to provide comparisons for evaluating the effect of the independent variables. Then, which is the following statement which describe the purpose of the review of literature? Because I have to go back because I cannot read. Okay, to summarize the findings of the previous study, that is, but more important is to identify the research gaps and formulate research questions. Why we are reading, why we are adopting review of literature is not to summarize the findings of previous studies. Obviously, is the best. This is important because you will write it and give. But our purpose is not this. Not to populate the second chapter. Second chapter is always review of literature, isn't it? To summarize the findings of previous. Why we are doing that? To identify research gaps and formulate research questions. That is the need, because this is important, because the second chapter should be populated with this summary. But why we are doing it is to identify the research gaps and formulate the research questions. Which of the following is an example for non-probability sampling technique? Non-probability. Okay. Many answers are coming. That is convenient sampling, because we know that simple, random, stratified, and cluster, all these samplings are probability sampling. The other is convenient sampling, or judgment sampling, or snowball sampling. All these are what we could say as non-probability sampling. So this is a very small refresher into the research methodology, and I'm sure that I have just tried to refresh what is already there in you, and this is only just to create a framework for the next classes. Suresh Nambudiri will be taking you through the how we can apply this one. what you could say, your ChatGPT or AI tools in every of these junctions where you feel difficulty while you are progressing. So this is only a stage setting. So whatever doubt you are having while you are progressing with your sections, you can have the assistance of that AI tools, which will make your work very, very easy. So this is all what I have tried to bring to your notice. So let me, I'm giving it to our moderator, Sijin. Are you there? If you have if the participants is having any doubts, we could go ahead.
There are some questions if you see in the chat, sir.
Actually, I'm not able to because here. Can you read it for me, because my chat
Okay.
is not properly working here. That is been okay. There's some error.
That's one question. What is the difference between experimental and descriptive research? Why the comparative research is considered the best research?
Actually, in an experimental research, you are trying to bring about some relationship between cause and effect relationship. That is, you have to create an experimental situations and then create that experiment, and then you have to make a comparison. Descriptive research is just describing what is there in the present scenario, isn't it? What is there in the present scenario? That is there in the descriptive research. So I think in a descriptive research, we are just summarizing. We are just summarizing these things. So let me take that instances. In that descriptive researches, the mobile phone usages among the secondary school students. So here, mobile phone usage in a descriptive research, you are just making an analysis on how many time the students spend on mobile phone, or what all sites. So you're describing what all these applications that they are most using, to what extent of time. So these are you are describing, summarized, explaining these characteristics. That's it. Because I am not able to read. Okay. Okay, Sijin, you can read it out, because I'm not
Okay.
able to read the chat. That is some. Okay.
How to select the sample in case population is not defined and if we don't have a sampling frame? For example, studies related to unorganized labor, etc.
So the sampling, because the sample is been collected from the population, because there is no study which could not be started without marking a population, isn't it? So without identifying the population, we will not be able to make a study. The studies are made on the basis of the population. So if you have got unorganized labor, okay, you have to identify that group, particular group. Definitely, there will be a group behind every study, and a small component you can identify it either by randomly, or you can if you are making a qualitative study, you can go and make a convenient sampling like that. That's it. So no study can be made without any targeted population if it is a social science, because labor and all the things are social science research. Okay. How to write a questionnaire to collect the data, social aspect, science, and technology. You have to write a questionnaire. That is, you can for preparing a questionnaire. First thing is that you have to first write what is the objective of that questionnaire. And on the basis of that objective, you have to frame the questions that will answer these objectives. And these questions should be populated into the questionnaire on the basis of whether, if it is an opinion, you can use Likert scale like that, Likert scale approach like that. You can prepare a questionnaire in that way, and then you can validate it. And the positive thing is that after attending this section, you can directly give that scenario to the ChatGPT. ChatGPT will be creating the questionnaire for you. Is it Interesting. There is there is no need for you to sit and write down and prepare a questionnaire as such. Suresh Nambudire will be giving you a prompt for preparing questionnaire. Execute that prompt, questionnaire will be ready in front of you. And the thing is that you can take that questions. If you want 50 questions, you can ask to give 100 questions. You can take the best 50 questions and you can validate it. You can check with your supervisor and then you can finalize it. Is it interesting? Definitely, you will enjoy a lot because other sections will be hands-on. So you will be enjoying, especially when we go with LMS. Definitely, all these things will be there. Someone has whether pre-processing like missing values and outliers can be addressed with the chat GPT. Chat GPT is it's like a chatting. It will be giving suggestions how to deal with outlier. What is outlier? How to deal with outlier? What tool you can use for fixing that outlier? It will give you the entire suggestion. So you can follow that suggestions and you can go ahead and remove outliers or something like that. Outliers, removal of outliers is something very important. Suppose if you want to identify the per capita income, I will tell the per capita income of a group of people living in a locality. And if Ambani and Adani is living there, what will be the per capita income of that particular group? They will be multimillionaires because the outlier Ambani and Adani is there. So outlier, removal of outlier is something very important. And you will say that, okay, that particular area is very poor area. There may be persons who are not able to make both ends meet. They will be considered as multimillionaires because of the outlier. So these are something very important. While you are doing with the research, all these things should be taken into considerations. Okay. How AI tools will help you in review of literature? Definitely, in the upcoming sections, you will be giving, Suresh Samudra will be giving prompt on how AI. Suppose if you are creating a text and you can give it to the this AI tool to rephrase it or to make it or rewrite it in some manner that you prefer, it will write it for you. Or you can give the content and you ask them to write it in this APS specifications. It will write it for you in that specifications. So that will that AI tools will be helping you a lot. Once you are just exploring the entire possibility of AI tools, you will not leave this AI tool. For everything, you will go and consult. And the thing is that it is not 100% accurate, right? So all these things, I have just set a stage, review of literature, sampling, research designs, and in the upcoming sections, this is only stage setting. The upcoming sections, you will be learning more on how AI tools could be used for review of literature, how AI tools for used for sampling, how AI tools for you could be used for report writing. All these things will be discussed on the upcoming sections. Okay, Srijan, go ahead because I'm not getting that icon of chat here. So I will not be able to go back and check out the previous.
Yeah, I'm also searching if there are any more questions which are coming.
So at this point, I would like to tell that when you work with ChatGPT, any question you ask ChatGPT, it will be giving very precise and concise answers to you. And the thing is that sometimes it may trick you, right? So you have to be, you are the master, you have to validate it. So our resource should not go down. We have to be resourceful. And this is a person who is there as a friend who will be helping you at every context. Suppose if you are making a standardized tool. Okay, so one person has asked me how to write a question, frame questionnaire out of chat. You just give the context to the chat GPT using the right prompt. The entire questionnaire will come beautifully to you. So what more you need, isn't it? And then the thing is that you have to sit and validate whether these questions are appropriate to the objectives that the questionnaire is meant for. And you can go with a validation of this questionnaire. And if you want to standardize it, go with the standardization procedure. That's it. Should know how to prompt what exactly you need to. Yeah, that is what all these days you are going to sit and learn. You will be starting with prompt engineering. That is the prompt engineering in the sense you have to first initialize ChatGPT that you are a research expert. Your task is to frame some questions for what some what type of questions for my questionnaire related to such and such topic, which will answer such and such objectives. Then you can give what all specific details, that is it should be related to such and such thing, some other details could be. So all these things are included, it should be included in the prompt can have up to 3000 words, something like that. So this, how to communicate in your mind to this AI mind is prompt. So all these days you are going to have prompt engineering, so no problem, you will be an expert after these sections.
There's a question. Will there be plagiarism issues in the content created by ChatGPT?
Yeah, actually, plagiarism is in the sense now there is a it is said that not more than 12% should not be there when it is when they are using that software and checking it with the what you could say websites. So actually, this is the difference between Google search and ChatGPT. Google search, if you are searching something, it will give you some text. It's a text search based on keywords, and it will be showcasing what some websites where the content will be available. But in ChatGPT is been presenting the things from the topic that it has learned. So it is not directly copying from the internet. It will be rephrasing the idea, the content, the principles of whatever thing you ask in its own words. So the plagiarism issue will not be predominant at this point of time, right? But later they can be some. But at this point of time, it is not predominant, because if you ask a person, the person will be answering you just like that. You ask the chat GPT will be answering you in one form. If you are asking it multiple times, it will be answering it in different ways, not the same thing. Copy and paste is not there in chat GPT. So plagiarism at this stage will not be that much. And if you're just making some content, obviously it is a better practice to go with citations. Citations will make your research richer, right? Okay, there's a Priyadarshini ask, will I, okay, but Priyadarshini, there was a live streaming, and these videos will be available in the LMS also. So actually, the why we the LMS is introduced is because if in any case you have missed some sections, that will be available in the LMS. And the thing is that the entire prompt is something very important. Prompt will be available in the LMS for every activities. If you're working with samples, if you're working with questionnaires, if you're working with research designs, if you're working with whatever thing, if you're working with a research question, research problem, or if you're working with hypothesis, you are giving a statement, I want, and I create an hypothesis, it will create like that. Everything should be presented in the right prompt to get the right answer. So all these things will be available, and a lot of videos will be available. So if you have LMS access, make the maximum use of it. His geographical location prompt need to be given. I mean, if I setting question paper in my university using ChatGPT, will it require to give no need, because no questions are if you're putting questions from the university, no questions are this specific, isn't it? The knowledge is universal, so there is no such specifications, unless if you are putting some questions regarding some monuments related to your area, so some cultural practices related to the area, you have to mention that. Otherwise, all the knowledge is universal. There is no need to make any such specifications, locations, etc., etc. Thank you. Okay. Paraphrasing reduces plagiarism. Okay, you can go ahead. No problem. The thing is that it is better if you can write it by yourselves and then ask the ChatGPT to reframe it. That will be better. Okay, because in an open stage, I cannot say. Is ChatGPT can identify the content that I made in a product of ChatGPT, because the technical aspects of the ChatGPT, it is from my experiences, I could identify that a learning will be happening in the ChatGPT process. It is in the continuous process of learning. Suppose if you're using the ChatGPT for any specific area domain without much of explanations, you can just directly give the question. It will give answers, because that means that it has been learning with respect to that particular logs, etc. Okay, Sijin, I think our most of the answers we have
Yes,
answered.
we have taken all the questions and we have
Okay,
answered.
so thank you all. So I think you will enjoy this research platforms. So go ahead. A long thing you have to, that is, you will be learning everything about this AI as well as prompting, and also there are sections on these funding opportunities also will be discussed in these sections. I understand that. So obviously this will be a very wonderful sections if you are taking it wholeheartedly. So go ahead and enjoy the possibilities of ChatGPT in research. Thank you.
Yes. Tomorrow we will have the session on research methodology using ChatGPT and AI. Please join in for that. Dr. Suresh Nambudiri will be taking that session. Thank you, Dr. Sunil Job, for that wonderful session, for setting the foundation of research methodology. So tomorrow, Dr. Suresh Nambudiri will continue on that and help you with research methodology using ChatGPT and AI. So please join in for that as well. We will start at 7 p.m. and we will see you then. Thank you and have a pleasant evening.
Okay. So thank you all and have a pleasant evening and good night.
Good night.